The first update is inside Creo now, it's easy to discover new features. Instead of digging through the menus or flipping through the documentations, system will now highlight all the brand new features and newly added options inside Creo. That means the moment you open up Creo, you can immediately spot the latest enhancement and start using them straight away. And if you want to deep dive, you can click here on the Learn More, and Creo will open up a What's New documentation for that specific feature with examples, videos, and more. It's a simple addition, but one of those little things that everyone really going to appreciate. Now, the next one is an enhanced tooltip. Now, whenever you hover over a feature, Creo pop-ups with a little image that show you exactly what the tool does. It's super handy tool, especially if you are new to Creo. It's not just on the top level features. For example, the variable section sweep have heaps of options, as you know. Now, the tooltips make it easy to understand those options. Pretty sure, especially for new users, enhanced tooltips help them to get up to speed and learn Creo quickly and easily. Another small enhancement on the Creo configuration editor in the config.pro option interface. Now you can simply right click and toggle the value for Boolean operations. As we all know, when you're working on big and large complex models, managing the visibility is super important. And honestly, sometimes it can take some time to for the visibility control. For example, you might need to zoom into just a few parts of the assembly, then quickly switch back to a different view. But getting back to where you were usually take a bunch of extra steps and clicks. Of course, you can now, you can use things like combination states or simplifier representations or even layers. There are really smart tools within Creo, but those can take time to set up. That's why in Creo Tool, you have now a much faster way capture visibility. With this feature, you can save the current visibility state as a temporary view. Later in the design process, just toggle visibility back to your saved state anytime without any setup required. Another nice improvement, there is now a brand new tangents edges settings available right in the in-graphics toolbar. Most of us prefer shader with edges display, especially when we're creating images or reviewing the models. But sometimes those tangent edges just clutter up the view and make it harder to see. But now you can easily toggle between tangent display edges, switch it on and off. Now, last year in Creo 11, PTC introduced a better workflow for map keys by splitting the config.pro and mapkey.pro into two separate files, making them much easier to manage and control. Now, along with that change, many users also requested PTC an ability to point Creo directly to a local mapkey.pro file. For example, to handle a customer-specific project mapkey file, without any hassle of loading the full global set of the map keys. Now that request was submitted to PTC as a product idea, and PTC delivered that in Creo Tool, and even backported that in Creo 11.5. So if you have a special set of custom map keys for a project, you can now load them directly through the starting directory, giving you much greater flexibility and control. Now let us focus on the model tree. The introduction of multi-body parts, Creo also gave us two handy tools in the model tree, the design tree and the quilt evolution tree. The design tree show you the features, how it's been make up the body or a quilt, and the evolution tree let you to show how that body or quilt has changed over the time. Both are useful features, especially working with the complex body structures. But until Creo Tool, there's two separate commands. Now they are rolled into one. That means also from the same place, you can quickly switch between the design view and the evolution view. It's a simpler, smoother, just makes sometimes life easier when navigating through the model tree. Also in Creo Tool, the whole layer experience is being freshened up to make them even smoother. Layers are simple but very powerful way to keep your model organized and control the visibility. Now, when you are in the layer tree, you will see a little mini toolbar that will pop up depending on what exactly you have selected, which layer you have been working on. It's context sensitive, specific to that layer. And even also that mini toolbar is is customizable now. Next is Sketcher enhancements. Starting with the Creo 9, PTC gave us the project and offset command in Sketcher a modern outlook, bringing them in line with the 3D modeling workflow. So with the Creo tool, that's even getting better now. You're no longer limited to working on a whole composite curve. You can now edit or individual segment directly. That means you can cut, you can delete, you can move an individual segment of a composite curve, you can trim it, you can fillet it, you can chamfer it, you can copy paste it, you can change the color. What other things was possible is possible with an individual edges. You can also do that with the composite curve as well. It's a really nice enhancement. Along with that, we have a brand new tool within the sketch called line midpoint. With it, you can create a line by simply clicking a center point, and the line is automatically symmetrical about that point. And also, sketchup palettes, out-of-box sketchup palettes is also expanded in Creo tool. So now we can find a new racetrack shapes with the multiple dimensional schemes. Again, giving you more ready-to-use sketching options within Creo. Now, core modeling enhancements. This is actually really an exciting enhancement. If Creo tool, we start introducing a new concept called feature presets. So the idea here is, designers often repeat the same combination of features options again and again. Things like standard hole sizes or chamfers, favorite rounds, or typical extrude shapes and settings. So with the Creo tool, now the system will automatically capture your frequently used features called as presets. Whenever you create or edit a feature, Creo remember that options you have used and make them instantly available. You can access the presets either to the dashboard or the rightmost button on the feature itself. There are other settings also available with the presets. You can save your own presets. It can be stored in the UI files. You can also export the presets and share with your teammates as well. Now, when you work with imported features, one of the biggest challenge is the surface quality. Imported surface may be fragmented, patches of surface, lack of proper tangency or G2 continuity. With the Creo tool, we can have a new tool called approximate surface. So what it does is when you now select a patch of fragmented surfaces, Creo will automatically fix it and create a smooth G2 continuous surface for you. This way, users will always have a cleaner, robust geometry to avoid any tedious manual surface repairs later. The high quality surface means it's definitely going to help you for NC machining and more accurate simulation results later. It's a really nice improvement again. Now, in Creo tool, curve through points has been upgraded to deliver a much cleaner geometry. When you create a curve, Creo now automatically reduces inflections, giving you a very smooth, high quality result. As you know, better control of the curves will improve the quality of the surfaces. With the curve through points, we have a new stretch value, which looks like a boundary blend or style option. It allows you to fine tune the tangency, the curvature continuity, and so on. You can see in the screen here, an older version of Creo, the curves created from a Creo in the older version with the blue color, and the newly created in Creo 12 have much more tangency and much more better topology. Now, this enhancement is a good one. Most of the time, people just want to create an external surface and quickly add wall thickness. When the geometry really get complex, the simple process doesn't work all the time. And the fixing it can take more time. So the big advantage here is now with the Creo tool, as soon as you start selecting the surfaces, your system will give you a preview. And if the preview fails, you immediately know which surface is causing the problem. That way, you can simply exclude that surface, you can repair it or patch it back later without wasting any time. So with this new flexibility added in Creo tool, you can now use the offset command for almost any geometry in Creo. That means it's easier to build an internal or external surfaces, and you can thicken them later with less headaches. Also worth mentioning about rolling ball enhancement that came up in Creo 8. It's actually a huge help when working with the high curvature surfaces. There is also an improvement on rolling ball. Um, now, now you can actually create side surfaces even when surfaces are excluded, making it much easier and faster to handle complex surfaces. Now, similar to offset feature, the surface extend tool also is being improved. If you look at the screen comparison in the screen with the two images here, in Creo 11, the surface could only be extended halfway through because of the self-intersecting surfaces. But in Creo tool, the algorithm is now improved so that Creo can actually push it further with more without any problem. While we are in extent, I also would like to mention improved extrapolate. So extrapolate is a nice option added in Creo 8, and we can see this comparison again. What extrapolate actually it's going to do, and in Creo 12, the performance of extrapolate has been improved.